Welcome to the African Take. Today, I will be taking you through a historical journey across Africa, a story of struggle, resilience, and hope as nations broke free from colonial rule. In this video, we'll explore the independence dates of African countries, the powers they liberated themselves from, and the incredible legacy of freedom that continues to shape the continent. Let's begin. The story starts way back when. But first, I want to share with you two unique cases, Liberia and Ethiopia. Liberia declared its independence on 26 July 1843. What's really cool is that Liberia was founded by freed African American slaves. It never experienced the typical European colonization that many other nations did. And then there's Ethiopia, a country with one of the oldest histories in the world. Even though it faced a brief Italian occupation in the 1930s, Ethiopia managed to hold on to its sovereignty and has always been a proud symbol of resilience. Fast forward a bit to the early 20th century. Egypt got its modern independence on 28 February 1922, when Britain officially recognized its autonomy, even though British influence lingered for some time. Then, in North Africa, Libya broke away from Italian colonial rule on 24 February 1951, a date that feels almost festive if you think about it. The 1950s really kicked things into gear. For instance, Sudan declared its independence on 1 January 1956, emerging from a unique arrangement known as the Anglo-Egyptian Condominium, a fascinating concept that bridged the historical divide between North and Sub-Saharan Africa. In the same year, Morocco freed itself on 2 March 1956, and Tunisia followed on 20 March 1956, both shaking off French influence, with Morocco also ending Spanish control in certain areas. And then there's Ghana, formerly known as the Gold Coast, which celebrated its freedom from Britain on 6 March 1957, inspiring countless others along the way. Guinea made its bold move on 2 October 1958, choosing independence from France under the dynamic leadership of President Sékou Touré. Now, 1960 is often called the Year of Africa, and for good reason. It was a landmark year when so many countries burst into the scene as independent nations. Picture this. Cameroon said, "We're free!" on 1 January 1960. And a few months later, Senegal celebrated its independence on 4 April 1960. Togo followed on 27 April 1960. And Madagascar broke away from French rule on 26 June 1960. Then the Democratic Republic of Congo declared its independence on 30 June 1960, a moment that would lead to both dramatic changes and significant challenges. Just a day later, on 1 July 1960, Somalia was born when British Somaliland and Italian Somaliland united. On 1 August 1960, Dahomey, now known as Benin, took its first step into freedom, soon followed by Niger on 3 August 1960, and Upper Volta, which would later become Burkina Faso, on 5 August 1960. The Ivory Coast celebrated its independence on 7 August 1960, while Chad declared independence on 11 August 1960, and the Central African Republic on 13 August 1960. The Republic of Congo followed on 15 August 1960, then Gabon on 16 August 1960. Mali also claimed its independence in the same year on 22 September 1960, followed by Nigeria on 1 October 1960, freeing themselves from British rule, and finally Mauritania on 28 November 1960. The momentum did not stop there. Throughout the 60s, more nations joined the movement. Sierra Leone became independent on 27 April 1961, and Tanganyika, later merging with Zanzibar to form Tanzania, declared its freedom on 9 December 1961. In 1962, both Burundi and Rwanda achieved independence on 1 July 1962, freeing themselves from Belgian rule, while Algeria, after a long and fierce struggle, freed itself on 5 July 1962. Uganda celebrated on 9 October 1962, and Kenya declared its independence on 12 December 1963. Malawi then followed and broke free on 6 July 1964, Zambia on 24 October 1964, and the Gambia added its voice to the chorus on 18 February 1965. In 1966, Botswana and Lesotho emerged as independent nations on 30 September 1966 and 4 October 1966, respectively. The late 1960s brought more changes. Mauritius celebrated its independence on 12 March 1968, Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland, on 6 September 1968, and Equatorial Guinea declared freedom on 12 October 1968. Then came the 70s, and we saw further transformations. Guinea-Bissau declared its independence from Portugal on 24 September 1973. Then another Portuguese colony followed. Mozambique freed itself on 25 June 1975, followed by Cape Verde or Cabo Verde on 5 July 1975, and the Comores declared freedom on 6 July 1975. Although, quite interestingly, we have Mayotte, which remained under French rule and still does so till this day. Not long after, Sao Tome and Principe stepped into independence on 12 July 1975, and Angola declared its freedom on 11 November 1975. The Seychelles, with its stunning archipelago, wrapped up the 1970s wave by emerging from British rule on 29 June 1976, and a year later, Djibouti declared independence on 27 June 1977. Then we enter the modern era, time for the late bloomers in the class. Zimbabwe, formerly known as Rhodesia, achieved internationally recognized independence on 18 April 1980 after years of struggle. Namibia finally broke free from South African rule on 21 March 1990, closing a very long chapter of colonial history. Eritrea, after a complex series of events involving Italian, British, and Ethiopian influences, declared its independence on 24 May 1993. South Africa, although it had been a self-governing dominion since 1910 and a republic since 1961, its true liberation came on 27 April 1994 with the first multiracial democratic elections, putting an end to decades of apartheid and starting a new chapter of hope and equality. And most recently, South Sudan became Africa's newest baby on 9 July 2011 after spinning off from Sudan following decades of conflict. Each date marks a turning point, a moment when the spirit of freedom overcame the weight of colonial rule. It's amazing to think about how Africa transformed into a vibrant mosaic of 54 independent nations, each with its own unique journey of resilience and hope. Thanks for joining me on this historical journey through African independence. I hope you found it as inspiring as I do. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts down in the comments. Let's keep celebrating these remarkable stories together. Until next time, bye-bye.